It's likely that you have mature landscaping on your property, and this can be impacted by the construction process. So we're going to talk in this segment about how to talk about that
Yeah,
with your contractor and
yeah.
protecting things.
Well, there's a couple of things about landscape that are really, really important. First and foremost, you invested a lot of time and effort probably in your landscape.
Yeah.
And you're now going to put a building in the back, and construction is just notoriously messy.
Mm,
And in general, contractors and people who work on it don't worry about that kind of stuff. They're just worried about getting their job done.
right.
It's going to have a big impact on your existing landscape. Okay, so one of the things you need to do is understand that you have a conversation with your general contractor and people who are working on it that, hey, I'm trying to salvage my landscape. And the other side is how much of this landscape repair is bid into the project, because it may not be
Oh,
bid into the project.
yeah, I didn't think about
And
that.
if it isn't into the project, you might could be another $20,000 on top of your project that you weren't expecting.
I don't want to lay sod again.
Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to have a good conversation with your contractor, and this can go into your site planning that we talk a little bit
Oh,
in
yeah.
another section, is to what area is kind of zoned off. This is your work area.
Gotcha.
This is the area you can get into and out of the thing. These are the trees I want to protect. This is the deck I don't want destroyed. This,
Yeah.
you kind of identify that and you set the parameters of where they can work. And if they need to get outside of that parameter, they don't just do it without talking to you about what is that going to impact and how's that
Right.
going to happen? What's going to happen? You probably got sprinklers in the yard that are going to get ripped up.
Yep.
Who's going to repair them?
Mm.
How are they going to get fixed? How are you going to plan for them? How are you going to mark them so you know what to fix?
Oh gosh, yeah.
So landscape becomes an important part of what's going on with that. That's really an important part. So think about it and work through that. Just be aware of that, what that's going on.
Be ready to
Then there's
plan.
another side that most people never think about.
Hmm.
You're building in a neighborhood. You got a neighbor probably on each side of you.
Yes.
They too have a mature yard. They've invested a lot in their yard, and they are going to be impacted by the construction that's going on in your
Yeah.
place. Not necessarily directly every time, but there's going to be heavy equipment coming up and down the street. There's going to be big, pumper concrete truck that's parked out in front of their house for an hour pumping concrete, and it may block them getting into their driveway.
Mm.
There are things like that that happen that you need to talk with your builder about and say, look, I want to be a good neighbor. And to be a good neighbor, I need you to be a good contractor. And if you know that what you're going to do is going to impact my neighbor by having 2 or 3 cars parked in front of them,
Right.
let's give them a heads up and make sure that it's not on a day where they're going to have a family party.
Oh gosh, yes.
So be a good neighbor and make sure you do it. Also, understand you're going to have a lot of trash.
Mm.
Okay. Some of that's going to be papers for construction, stuff like that. The wind comes up and then it's going to get blown into your neighbors. There's going to be things like that happen. Be a good neighbor. Help take care of the trash. Take care of those things.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have a trash container and talk with them about what's going on and say, hey, if there's something that's going on over there, let me know
Yes.
and we'll work it out. Because the more you work with your neighbors and be a good neighbor about it, the more happy they're going to be with this situation. You won't have somebody that's frustrated with it.
Oh wow. I wouldn't have even considered these things.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's so important. Um, how do we get in contact with your team at ADU Utah?
My favorite way is email. So send me an email to our team, and you can do that by sending it to hello@ADU Utah, which comes to our entire team, and we'll answer the questions or get in touch with you, however you want to do it. By literally all you do is send that to hello@aduutah.com.